Hi guys, it's Machaela, and today I just wanted to do a video, a little bit of a storytime video on a particular moment that happened when Marty was down. And it's a moment that at the time it felt like all hope was lost, but what I've come to realize is that it wasn't me losing hope, rather it was about me giving it all to God so that God can then work. Before we jump into that story, if you'd like to hear our journey, what we've been through over the course of the last year, I will leave a playlist below, and hit that subscribe button. I do videos focusing on beauty and lifestyle. So with that, let's go ahead and start kind of where we were in the moment and set up that day. That day itself, so I was still living in a different place before I had moved. It was a house where everything kind of went down as far as the injury goes, and as far as just all the things that had happened prior to that, and we had come to the conclusion that it was just time to move based on our circumstances. So I was at the time 8 months pregnant with my youngest, and we had asked the family to come over. The move was sudden, it wasn't planned, but it was something that needed to happen right away. So we had asked a bunch of friends and family, and just basically our support system had came over and helped us move. Again, because I was big and pregnant, there wasn't much I could physically do, and honestly, mentally, I couldn't do much either because I was not in a good place because my husband was dying. And at that point, he was in day 9 of his coma. Doctors had already said, you know, you should think about letting him go. And again, if it weren't for my family, they, and them saying, don't give up hope, don't give up on God, God's got a bigger plan, it's not time to let him go yet. So because of them, I did not pull the plug, and I'm so thankful for that to this day. But anyway, it was at a point, it was about midday. It was like a day or two before that we decided that we were just going to hold out a little bit longer. But I had already accepted the fact that he was probably gone at that point. I was sitting at the dining room table, exhausted. I needed to sit down, and I wasn't doing too good. And I had gotten to a point where I was just upset, thinking, this is it. This is my life. I'm losing my husband, and I'm never going to get him back. And everyone was around me, working, packing, doing everything they could to help me. And I don't even know how long it was at this point. It felt like a while, but I had just sat there and I was just kind of zoning and thinking and hoping. And I don't think I was really praying in that moment, but I was just kind of accepting what God was going to do, whether he was going to perform a miracle or even whether he was going to take Marty home. And I don't even know how long I sat in that thought. I remember the shirt I was wearing that day, and for whatever reason that shirt it got a lot of symbolism. It was just a blue maternity shirt with a bunch of pink flowers on it, and I'm pretty sure I was just in jeans and my hair was in a ponytail. Abby was running around with some of her cousins, and so anyway, during that moment, I just remember just trying to accept what was happening. And in that moment, what I thought at the time was I had given it up all hope. And you know how that kind of saying goes, where, it's like you give up all hope and then a miracle happens, and we see it in movies and in life all the time. But the reality is, maybe that's not giving up all hope. Maybe instead it's giving it all to God and letting him then take that and do with it what he will. There's this pastor I watch on YouTube. It's the channel Advice from Dad. And it's a video that made a lot of sense. And he did a video one day about why God does not answer your questions. Or not questions, but it's something like why God is saying no, or why he doesn't feel like he's going to answer you, I will link that video down below, because that video, I watched this probably about a month ago, and that's when this all kind of started kicking in. Like, maybe I wasn't giving all hope, but maybe I was giving it all to God. And anyway, one of the things he had said in that video was, maybe God's not answering you now because he's waiting for you to do something, so that then he can do something. And that's when that hit me. Maybe when I was sitting there giving up all hope, maybe it's not that I was giving up all hope, but maybe that before God was allowing me to was ready to show me his work, he needed me to give it all to him, to give everything up to him in that moment, everything up regarding my husband, or even my children, and even just everything in my life that was holding me to this world, and just giving it to him completely. And in that moment, I feel like God was waiting for me to just give it all to him. Because when I was at that point where I had just kind of accepted that this was what life was going to be, and I was just kind of waiting on God at that point, and just, you know, accepting the fact that my husband may not come home, what I was really doing was giving it to God to work and do with that what he will, what his plan is, what his grace and mercy is going to show through all of that. And I'm not kidding. In that very same moment where I was just accepting what was going to be no matter what, I got a phone call from his doctor, or the doctor that was at the hospital at the time, from him saying, Machaela, he's waking up. Machaela, we're taking him off the ventilator. He's breathing again. Machaela, we're doing that. And not only in that moment when I was in complete devastation, I had that moment with everybody around me that I loved. My biggest support group, everybody was there in that moment, rejoicing with me, because I got that phone call. I ran out to the front porch with my mom, and I said, Mom, I've got this phone call, you know, and all of a sudden the family was there. You know, everybody who was our biggest support system was there surrounding us. And his doctor said, he's waking up. Day 9 of his coma, he woke up. And then they said, we're taking him off the ventilator. We are going to try, we're going to see how he does. We're going to test some things out, see if he can breathe on his own again without this life support on him. And in that moment, my day went from just being upset, being sad, just trying to get through it, to all of a sudden, it was a good day. It was a joyous day. It was a beautiful, great, amazing day, because at that moment, my husband was going to live. And I felt like in that moment, God had told me my husband was going to live. My husband's going to come back. My husband's not going to stay this way forever. He's going to thrive. He's not only going to come back to you, but he's going to come back, and you guys are going to thrive in your marriage, and you're going to live a life full of goodness, and being able to share his grace and mercy with our family, and be able to be that testimony for God, because human hands alone cannot do this. Human knowledge said my husband was dying, but God's knowledge said, and God's power said, I am bringing him back. And in that very same moment, I went from loss to life, to hope, to... I had not given up hope in that moment that I've been thinking that I had. I had been giving it to God, and God had it all, and then God was able to work. And back to what that video that I watched was saying, God sometimes will wait on you to do something in order so that he can do something bigger. God wants us to give it all to him. And then God is our source of hope. And because of him and him alone, my husband is here, and he's thriving, and he's healing, and he's doing so good. And I can't believe it. I can't. There's no words. I mean, God placed the people in our lives that needed to be there. He let relationships form that needed to be formed. And it was because we gave it all to God. And it was because we took it out of human hands and put it in God's hands. Human hands alone could not have brought my husband back from the dead. only God's hands could have. Only God did. And I am so beyond blessed and so beyond thankful that that I'm able to be a part of that story and a part of that witness and to be able to have seen it for myself, because now you can't. I mean, I've always been a pretty strong believer, but you can't tell me, especially now, that God does not exist, because God defied all human knowledge and power and did what only He can do. And I'm serious. Just give it to Him. Have the faith. Give it to Him. If you're going through hard times, maybe it is a brain injury. Maybe it's something else in your life. Maybe you're battling something that cannot be cured by human hands. But if you just give it to Him, and if you just allow God to work in the way that only He can work, He will do good things. He will do big things, because for those He loves, for those who have accepted Him into their hearts, for those who have given it to Him, and those who pray and cry out and plead, God hears you, and God works, and God loves, and He does not leave His children sitting in the dust. He brings life where there is no life. And thank you for all those who've been on this journey with us. Thank you for supporting us, supporting our family, praying for us, helping us in any way that you can, and for just being what we needed in this hard time in our lives, and for us to be where we are now, after losing what felt like hope, but giving it to God. Thank you, and thank you for just supporting us, and thank you for watching this video. And if you have any questions, I will leave my Instagram link down below. Feel free to message me on there, go follow me there, or comment down below if you have any questions, or even anything that needs prayers for, anything that, you know, I will definitely answer to the best of my ability, and if I don't have the answers, I will do everything in my power to find them. So again, thank you for watching. God bless, and bye guys.